COVID-19 numbers in Maryland are trending in the right direction. People have been tested positive for the coronavirus in the past 24 hours. The positivity rate is down by 1%, and hospitalizations are fewer than 460. These two metric numbers are down. For the past 24 hours for these cases, that there are 228 people who have been tested positive, 15 more COVID-19 deaths, 6 fewer hospitalizations, and the positivity rate is 1 up, but it's almost getting towards less than 2%, which means it's by 1%. Now, all Baltimore County Public School students can return to the classroom in person for 4 days and 1 day virtually. Baltimore County is in the orange zone for coronavirus transmissions, so schools can reduce social distance for all these students to 3 feet. Students do still have a choice to do virtual learning. Now, for in general, for everywhere in the state of Maryland schools, sometimes if you miss the bus, you can go on school virtually, or your parents can take you to school. It's an opportunity to be in school on time without being late. A all-new study found a 2-dose of Pfizer's and AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines were both highly effective against the variant first discovered in India. Pfizer's vaccine was at least 88% in preventing symptomatic COVID cases, while Astra's shots were 60% effective. Experts say getting both shots is vital because effectiveness 50% or at least. Maryland reported for that COVID-19 that there are 160 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. This marks the very first time since March 2020 that coronavirus pandemic hit in our state. This is also the first time during that pandemic and COVID, the positivity tested rate has fallen below 2%. That right there, it is the very lowest percentage of that positivity rate that we haven't even seen. Moderna says its COVID-19 vaccine appears to work for children. So more than 3,700 children ages 12 to 17 were studied in phases 2 of trials. Moderna says blood tests showed its vaccine produced an immune response equal finding in adults. The company says, unquote, the results are consistent with the vaccine efficacy of 100%. Moderna asked the Food Drug Administration to authorize its vaccine for 12 years old and even teenagers in early June. Fewer than 200 cases have been reported positive for this coronavirus across Maryland. There are 8 reported deaths of COVID, 10 fewer people, which is in Maryland, in the hospital, and the positivity tested rate is at 1.87%. The Maryland Department of Health redeploys a mobile public health education unit here in Baltimore. The goal is to conduct outreach to increase vaccinations rate in Pacific communities. The truck is covered with informational banners and it broadcasts COVID-19 prevention practice as well as vaccine message. The World Health Organization say COVID cases are down 14% worldwide. Deaths are also down 2% according to the WHO. The European region is reporting the largest decline of all despite the global drop. The organizations note that cases and deaths still remains high up in some countries. Maryland recorded slightly more than 200 new COVID cases reported in the last day. 33 fewer people are in the hospital with a COVID-19 infections, while the numbers of people who have died from the virus, which is at 5 more. This state has added hundreds to the total. The state health department is recategorized hundreds of deaths from the last year, attributing them to COVID. 517 deaths have been added to the total, meaning the deaths toll now stands at 9,368. Officials say that deaths were not classified by the medical certifiers over the past year. The state is now in the process of reissuing guidance for coding protocols. There are too many changes in our state of Maryland COVID-19 metrics. Fewer than 250 cases have been reported. 12 people have died, and the positivity test rate is down again by 1.73%, and the numbers of these people in the hospital decrease as well. After more than a year, it's likely either you or someone you have had coronavirus or a COVID disease. Johns Hopkins and Baltimore reported about 10% actually caught it. The numbers of cases nationwide is about 33.2 million. The CDC says those numbers are undercounted. They believe that is the actual number of infections is closer to 115 million. That is about 1/3 of Americans. Less than 200 cases are reported. 7 people have died. The number of the COVID-19 metrics of the hospitalization and the positivity rate are once again decreased. COVID-19 are almost getting better, but you can still have an opportunity to look at the data charts of the COVID-19 if you go to their Maryland's link at coronavirus.maryland.gov on the description below to click it.